Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in. Today, we just want to kind of recap on Bitcoin and kind of go over what I've been seeing around the crypto space, whether that's Reddit or Twitter. And I think it's just, a friendly reminder. There are, I'm sure, I'm not sure if they're watching these videos, but I know in general, there are more and more new investors into the space, which is always great. We always need new investors, new buyers to enter the space in order for the price to go up. And they're coming into a time when Bitcoin's extremely bullish. It's it's never been as bullish as it has been for a long time. Um, I'm sure, like if you can go on the fear and greed index, like the greed's at like high 90s. I'm sure still. I haven't checked in a long time, but that could also like iterate, kind of like what I'm talking about here. And they've never really yet experienced a correction of Bitcoin of magnitude that we, as someone like me or someone who might be watching this video, is has experienced of a correction of Bitcoin. And they do happen, and I believe they'll keep on happening. And the argument to say that we'll never see another crash of Bitcoin, I think, is preposterous. It happens. It happens more often than we'd like, obviously, but they happen. And I think for everyone, they need to be aware and they need to be okay with that. And they cannot freak out when it happens because um, I feel like it's say like in if you have ever been to a fight, even as a kid, if you brace yourself for the punch that's coming, it feels a little better than unexpectedly being punched. And that's kind of what I'm trying to get about in this video. That let's celebrate that Bitcoin has reached a new high. It hit $28,000 yesterday, and we're currently up 3% for the day, and we're at 27. However, um, at any given moment, and you can use indicators to help you, like how I do, or you can just be aware that it can't happen at any point in the cycle, that there are going to be corrections of Bitcoin, corrections of the nature of 20%, 30%, sometimes 50% um, in valuation loss. And it happens all the time. It's happened in the previous cycle. It has happened in the last cycle before 2017. And I believe it'll continue happening again. And I want to get to the argument that a lot of people say is that this time is different. That you'll hear that a lot. This time is different. This time is not different. History may not repeat, but it will rhyme. It will emulate certain patterns. I'm fairly confident of that. And I would rather bet on that outcome rather than betting that this is going to be something completely different, that this is different. I don't think that's wise investing. Now, the main reason why people think this is different is that this is the year of the institutional buyer. We're probably going to go down if in 5 6 years from now, we'll probably look at this point in time of the institutional investor, where big players like PayPal, um, Square, uh, all these players coming in and buying up Bitcoin. And the argument is well, these guys are in it for the long haul. They will not sell, and you may be right. But I would argue that we always needed that influx of capital to get us where we are right now. Like this isn't kind of like a black swan event to say, for example, say out of nowhere, all these institutional buyers that we weren't expecting now come in, and now this is why we're moving up. I think we've we probably always needed that amount of money in order for it to move up past $20,000 and to go up to the new peak of Bitcoin. Um, I believe that would be the case. And so, in to be completely frank, like this is just going according to plan. We always needed that kind of money, whether that's from institutionals or just more retail buyers. Um, do not be mistaken that there are going to be a lot more retail buyers now than there were prior. I think it's an exponential move in amount of buyers, simply because that's the only way for the price to move up with the market cap that we have. The market cap of Bitcoin now is a lot higher, is higher than um, 2017. And that is not because that we're at $27,000. That is a part of it, yes, but there is more Bitcoin in circulation. There are more traders now, I believe, and in the coming future than we would have in 2017. There's going to be a lot more buyers, a lot more sellers, a lot more transactions going on now and in the coming months and the years than we have before. And that is the way we move higher. So don't dilute yourself, or that's what I would argue, to think that this time is different because there's a wave of institutional money coming in. These institutional players are traders too. They're looking for a higher ROI. And if they believe that this is where they're going to take profits, they're going to take profits. Don't think that they're your saving grace into thinking that they will carry you to the new paradigm. They will offload just as much as the next guy who's looking to take profits, and you're going to be the one left hanging the bag. With that said, I do think the price is going to go higher, but I don't want to uh, conflict myself into thinking that this time is different. That's why I take profits. It is why I took profits at $26,000. I understand that the price can move higher, and it did. It did go up to $28,000. I could have held for another $2,000 and sell then. But with that kind of thinking, you could then circular logic your way into, well, I just won't sell anything until $100,000. And what if $100,000 comes and you see the price moving like it is right now? You're going to start thinking to yourself, well, maybe I should hold till 150. And that's, and at some point, it may be not be now, like you could have said to yourself, well, I was planning to sell at 26, but I'm going to hold it, see if it goes to 30. And it probably will go to 30 and the way it's going right now. But at some point, you're going to get it wrong and you're going to have your entire bag just lose valuation. And I refuse to happen for that to happen to myself, and I'd hate to happen it for that to happen to you guys. So I would always stress, it doesn't have to be what I do, and it doesn't have to be what anyone else on the internet is doing. Find something that works for yourself, but for the love of God, take profits somewhere. Okay, um, and especially if you're looking to protect your wealth, to better the life of yourself, or if you have a family, um, you would need to take profits in order to realize that. Now, you could just be one who's never going to sell back to fiat, and all the power to you. In this case, I don't know why you're you're watching videos like mine where I'm focusing on, in the end, going back to fiat, going back to dollars, and I will not be in this space forever, right? Uh, I will, sell my positions, keep it in dollars, and then protect that wealth. With that said, I think so don't delude yourself into thinking that this will keep on going forever. It won't. We will have many corrections, and we're going to have a big correction sometime in the cycle where it's going to break the 20-week moving average and it's going to go down 50, 60%, and your entire position is going to lose 60% valuation. Now, if you're going to keep it all in Bitcoin, that's fine. That shouldn't matter to you. But if I'm betting, I'm willing to bet that a majority of you are looking to sell your position. You just don't know where. Now you can take my strategies of looking at the RSI, looking at the distance between the moving averages, how fast we get there. You can find your another plan that works better for you and for your position. If you're more risky, of course, you can hold longer. Or if you're conservative, you can sell quicker. Anything that works for you, find it and know how to get out. Because I know there's a lot of threads on how to get in. Best exchanges with the lowest fees, best customer service, um, uh, fastest deposit times, all these different ways to find the best way to on ramp into the crypto space. There's very little going on about how to get out. And I think for a lot of people, especially the new people, they see their positions go up 60, 100%, 200%, even 400%, and they don't know how to offload their positions. Find out the best way to offload your positions for you. Find an exchange, whether you have to KYC. Odds are you have to KYC to get like withdrawals going, but find an exchange that works for you, that is legal in your country, and start learning how to off ramp your positions, getting your crypto back into dollars or back into your own current, like, native national currency. And once you know that, once you know where you're going to sell, it becomes a lot easier to sell your positions and to lock in your gains, because at some point $27,000, whether it corrects today, corrects in a week, corrects in a month, at maybe $35,000, it will correct. And at that point, you're going to wish that you sold. Anyway, I want this latter half of the video to look at why we may be in the face of a correction. And when I see posts increase exponentially talking about this is the new normal, this is gonna this time is different, those kinds of posts, that kind of mentality, the more I'm looking at a correction, the more I'm looking to offload my position. Now, I've already offloaded a portion of my position at 26,000. I'm not looking to sell at this point. If it does go higher, then yeah, I'll be looking to offload my position. I already have kind of a timeline and price point within that timeline, if it hits kind of area, that I'm looking to offload my second position. But as of right now, I'm happy with the position I have. I've offloaded some back into fiat. I did not move it into any other cryptocurrency, back into fiat. Um, and now I'm waiting. Uh, but as I said before, when you see increases in these kinds of comments, this kind of mentality, the more I get suspect of the current price action. And as of right now, and I mean, ever since going above 20K, those comments have been increasing, and obviously, and because of that, my suspicion is increasing. And now, I can't predict exactly when. It could be today, again, next week, next month, who knows? But at some point, it will correct. And we can use technical analysis, and I've used these kinds of charts here in front of us before. We are currently at 90.65 on the RSI. The last time we were at this level was on June 2017 and December 2017, both of which were at the 90 RSI. The other two instances were back in 2013 and 2014, or sorry, just 2013, and we got to like near 100 on the weekly RSI, 99.42 and 96.37. I don't think we'll ever get to that level again. And volatility is down because of the maturity of the market. And also, what's interestingly enough, these same people that say that this time is different also use that argument that volatility is low, but they're referring to volatility of the downside. You're not going to see massive corrections. But we are currently seeing high volatility right now. We're seeing Bitcoin go up 22%, 11%, 15% in a week alone over a span of months. And we have increased from the month of March 500, like almost 600% in valuation in less than a year. That's still high volatility. So they misconstrued volatility to the downside. They do not expect it on the upside. But when we look at 600% to the upside, it's a lot lower than tens of thousands of percents move from $68 to $1,000. Like these moves are in 2013 were more volatile. The price action was more aggressive. But back to the RSI, we've been here before, albeit very briefly, and we came back down. And we may not be seeing the peak now. I don't think it's the peak right now, the all-time high, but it could be something like of June of 2017, where we correct back down to the 20-week. And when we look at the correction, it lasted about 7 weeks, the 7 weeks to the downside, and a 30% correction back to the 20-week. That is the kind of correction that I'm talking about. That it spans over 7 weeks, so a little less than 2 months, back down to the 20-week. And that can happen. That can always happen. Don't think for a second that it won't happen, because it will. When we look at the distance from the moving average to the 20-week moving average, we're right now at 75% above the 20-week moving average. Last week, we're at 78%. 2019, we were at 83, 84% above the 20-week moving average. If you change the parameters to opens or highs, the week after, on the 24th of June week, 2019, we're about near 100% above the 20-week moving average. June 2017, here, the first week of June, the same one where it had 90 on the RSI, we were at 105% above the 20-week moving average. We're obviously very far away from 100% above the 20-week moving average, but we're at the beginning points of we're pretty far away from the 20-week moving average on the upside. And we've seen corrections as low as 60% above the 20-week moving average, 49%, so 50% above the 20-week moving average, and it corrected as well. So these things can happen. We need to be aware of those things happening, and at any point in time, it can happen. Now, what these technical indicators are saying is we're definitely overbought. We've been overbought for a long time, and it can stay like this for a few weeks. But at this point, it's I'm not selling now. I'm not selling because of these. But if it gets any higher, I'll continue selling. I'll take advantage of that because I'm confident that we will see it come back down. If it doesn't, fine, I'll keep on selling. And that's the kind of mentality that all of you guys should have. And embrace the idea that Bitcoin can correct. We don't know when it will correct. So if that is the case, embrace the idea that you don't know, and embrace the idea to sell. Sell as it keeps on going up. And when it does come back down, you'll have the opportunity to buy more if you'd like. I hope this was informative. I hope it was a little sobering. And I hope that I can bring some perspective, some, little bit more conservative perspective on the price. I think the people on Reddit and I are on the same page that we want to see Bitcoin move up. I do too. I have a lot of position in my Bitcoin, and my portfolio is a lot of in Bitcoin. So naturally, I do want to see it up, but I don't want to delude myself into thinking that this time is different. It's just going to go up because of X, Y, and Z. Never happens, and I don't want to fool myself into thinking that it will. Maybe one day, but I don't think this is the day. I don't think this is the year. I don't think it's the next 3 years where it will make it something new. Anyway, that's all for today, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.